that. Mark is asking, is some of those holes requiring 5-axis moves? And that is correct. So let's, staying on topic here for drilling, we have our machine setup location in this orientation. Without loading an index system, if you just wanted to drill a hole, any holes that align with Z, you could do that doing a standard drill feature. Now, the holes can be start and stop at different Z levels because we do grouping, okay? And using this grouping, we could select those holes. It's going to read all the hole sizes, and it's going to read the diameters. I'm just going to process this, and you can see how even not in an index system, if the holes align with Z, you can program them, okay? We don't want to do the index method for each of these different features, so we're looking for a faster way. So instead of using a standard hole type, we're going to go to a cross drill type. Okay, Mark was asking about those holes that are on 5-axis. We can drill those too, but that you would require a 5-axis machine, and then you would use multi-axis drilling. To get multi-axis drilling, you'd need a mill 5-axis standard license. So 5-axis standard will get you multi-axis drilling. Mill 3-axis standard will get you standard drilling, so you could drill holes that are at different Z levels, and 4-axis standard gets you cross drilling. So really, as far as drill feature changes, cross drill you get with 4-axis, so 4-axis standard and 4-axis pro would have that. Multi-axis drilling, you need 5-axis pro. Or I'm sorry, 5-axis standard would be the lowest level product you would need for this, okay? In our example, we want to look at cross drilling. Cross drilling is great for mill turn machines and 4-axis milling machines. We're going to just set the axis of rotation. We're going to window pick the geometry. I'm not really too concerned about what it finds here. What I am showing here, let's blank this this other index system here. All these holes here, you can see it found the ones that intersected with center, and the ones that were on a compound angle, it just threw them out. If it was off center as well, I really should have a tab down here so you could see an off center hole. It would not cut the off center holes. Let's see here. Okay, so you can pick an index system, you can use a pattern, program some child features of that pattern, and then that way you get the same thing rotated where you want them. You could do a standard drill feature, okay, but that drill feature, the features have to be orientated with Z. If they're not, it won't drill them, okay? So if we do this again, I assume that it won't drill them. I think it would like throw an error. But see how if I try to select these other holes here, it's not going to let me pick those holes. But these holes here that are aligned with Z, this is with standard drilling, I could do that, okay? All right, and you can see how it throws out the ones that it can't, and it gets the ones that it can. If you have a 4th axis and you're trying to drill these holes around the outside, you may not want to pick them all individually, okay? That's where cross drilling comes in. So you go to cross drill, okay? You define the axis of rotation. You can window pick the whole body, all right? Now, the other thing here, there's some ID stuff. You can account for different situations. In this case, we're just coming in here and we're going to drill all these holes. Now, it finds them, it reads the depth from the model, and it groups them based on Z starting and stopping, okay? You do have some different controls as far as the linking. That becomes a question. This group retract here, there's a couple of methods you could use in order to adjust how it links between holes, so you can keep it closer to the part, or you can have it move further away, okay? Will cross drill select Z aligned holes that are shifted in Y? No. It has to the holes, all of these holes, what they have in common, hold on. All these holes, what they have in common is they intersect with the axis of rotation. Okay, so all their center lines are on center line. If the hole is over in Y, it's not going to drill that feature. Cross drilling is designed specifically for holes that are on center line. If you have holes that aren't on center line, then what you would need to do is establish an index system and machine them. Or depending on the machine configuration you have, it's also a case for 5-axis drilling, right? So if we come in here, and I believe that it will, or I guess I don't need to do that. Let me edit. Let me remove the selection. Let's reselect. Let's make this multi-axis drill. So what's going on in my mind is I'm on a 4-axis mill, and I'm telling it to do 5-axis toolpath. So I feel like it's going to yell at me. So let's see what it does. Now, multi-axis drilling, you don't really window pick. That's not the workflow for multi-axis drilling. Cross drilling, you can window pick. Standard drilling, I don't recommend window picking. Multi-axis drilling, we don't window pick. We would pick the cylindrical faces we want to work with, okay, and they could intersect with center line, or they could be at any orientation, okay, so you can see how we can pick these different holes. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is that as you pick the different holes, there's arrow directions. I want to hide the toolpath because it's obstructing my view. So I'm just going to use this hide button there. Okay. And then I want to take focus off the feature, and I'm just going to put it over here for now. This one right here is the world coordinate system. This one right here is the machine setup. Okay. When you're on focus on the machine setup, it displays the machine setup. When you're on focus on an index system, it displays the index system and the Z direction, positive Z, right? If you're on a feature, it displays the feature depths, right? The preview. Geometry, it displays the geometry, okay? When we come in here, if I'm on this operation, it will display the operation even if this is chose to blank because I've put focus on it, okay? I'm going to go up to the job here. Let me reselect our geometry here. This is multi-axis drilling. These are all the geometry segments, but you can look at these arrows. You can see some are pointing up or some are pointing down, okay? So when you're dealing with multi-axis, what you want to do is make sure that they're pointing in the direction that you want them to. I thought you just clicked on them to reverse it, but I guess you have to highlight it. Okay, and then once you have it highlighted, you can reverse. We can go to the next one here. You can kind of go down the preview list here. And then again, I could reverse this one. So we want to make sure the arrow is pointing the Z direction you want to cut to, like drilling the hole down to that direction. Okay, using multi-axis drill, we can have holes that are off center or on center. This one, okay, so I felt that it would yell at me. It didn't yell at me. So it didn't error out. It did calculate it, but if I try to simulate this, I expect an error. Like this is not toolpath for a 4-axis machine, right? So if you have 5-axis toolpath, then your license must have 5-axis. Yes, my license has 5-axis premium, which has all the toolpaths. Okay. In order to see if your license doesn't have an option, generally it's grayed out. Okay. That's how you kind of know. But again, what we're talking about here is using cross drilling. We can find and program holes that are on center, right? So we could clear this, we can window pick everything, find everything that's on center and compute it, okay? Mark had a question, well, what if the holes are off center? What if it's in Y? Well, cross drilling specifically, they have to intersect with center line, but you could use multi-axis drilling. Now, you could, in a case, where you have a 5-axis software and you're running it on a 4-axis machine, you could still use multi-axis drilling to drill them in Y, okay? But what you wouldn't do is pick the holes that required a 5-axis move. Instead, you would just pick the holes that required a 4-axis move, whether it was off-center in Y or not, right? Okay, so that is another workflow that you could use for that. And you can see I was able to post the code out